Okay, we're going to go ahead and start the regular city council meeting of Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Please call the roll.
Anderson.
Here.
Mensch.
Here.
Cahoe.
Here.
Rolfs.
Here.
Marcier.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Delar.
Here.
Berry.
Here.
8 present.
Okay, if everybody would stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item number 4. Excuse me. We need a motion to approve the City Council regular meeting minutes of June 25th, 2024.
So move. Second.
Please call the roll.
Delar.
Aye.
Cahoe. Miller.
Aye.
Marcier.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Rolfs.
Aye.
Berry.
Aye.
Mensch.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, at this time we need, public comment, sorry. If you just state your name for the record, please.
Yep, my name is Kyra Ebert.
You need to come up to the podium, please.
My name is Kyra Ebert. I'm Chief of Staff for State Representative Jason Bunting. We do have an office here in Watsika, which I primarily worked at Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and I travel over to Dwight on Wednesdays. Sometimes the hours I may have to shift a day or two, but basically I'm here tonight just to introduce myself, let you know that we are here to help you guys if you're looking for any funding, any letters of support, which I've talked with Mayor Allhands a few times for letters of support, and we have been happy to do so this far. If you have any constituents that are needing any issues with state agencies, I am happy to help with that. I gave each of you a flyer for the museums in the park. This is a great program for the constituents in our district. So it's free admission for four to any of these museums that are listed. So Brookfield Zoo, Shedd Aquarium, the Field Museum. Those are some pretty hot places that we see a lot of requests come out of. It's very expensive to go to these places, and not a lot of people can afford vacations because of everything else costing so much. So the superintendent of Watsika Schools has posted it on their Facebook page. We had a really good response from that. I've been sharing it on Facebook, but if you know of anyone going to Watsika yourselves in your districts or your wards, please let them know of this. The park is good year round, so it's not just something available in the summer. It's something that people can check out at Christmas break. So if you guys need any assistance, have any questions about any legislation, need to talk to us about any legislation, please know we're here. I've given each of you my card with our phone number and our email address.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else for public comment? Joe, I need to ask, if something comes up with a later presentation, can the audience be allowed into the conversation, or should it be set at public comment?
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
Okay. Just thought I'd get that clear. Okay, at this time, we need a motion to go into a public hearing, and this is for the ordinance providing for the budget and appropriation for general, corporate, and other purposes for the fiscal year, so the appropriation. So I need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Joe, you want to take it away?
Do an all in favor at least.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is a public hearing on an ordinance providing for the budget and appropriation for general, corporate, and other purposes for fiscal year beginning May 1, 2024 and ending April 30, 2025 for the city of Watsika pursuant to law. Notice of this public hearing was published in the newspaper, posted, and a copy of the appropriation ordinance was put up in the city clerk's office. At this time, be appropriate, is there any comments from the public regarding the appropriation ordinance? Any comments or questions from the city council? With that, if you could entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing and go back in the regular session.
Need a motion and a second, please.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Can we
You
do
can do
it
an
all?
all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, on to item number 6. That is Mr. Jacob Carlisle with Carlisle Group. If we'd have you approach the lectern there. And this will be in regards to a couple issues, primarily the historical district. submitted and discussed, I believe, at the last board meeting. And I understand there was some questions in there, and I still didn't know. So, I'm basically here to answer any questions. I did bring some information regarding the Historic District Program through the National Park Service for handout. Would that be appropriate to hand out now for that? Yes, sir. And while he's doing that, I'm going to read into the record an email I received from Mr. Carlisle. Basically, I mentioned that it dropped due to a lack of a second. John, I'm sorry to hear that. Estimating labor costs, satisfying those unknown desires of a state agency is not cut and dry. We try to estimate the time as best as possible with our experience in working with them previously, formatting our proposals hourly as it's not an exact science. I also don't heavily pad the estimate as I don't want the hours to seem excessive in the onset. In any case, I'm unwilling to accept the original hourly fees for an effort that dies at the finish line. In the interest of maintaining a relationship with the city, I will eat the additional effort to get this done. I'm always happy to assist you in addressing the board, but I get the impression that some of the members believe we did something wrong. The perception of my firm is more important than the cost of the additional effort. I'll let you know when we resubmit to the state. My opinion is they probably shouldn't have to eat the additional funding. So going back historically on this project on the historic district, we were approached by the city of Watsika regarding a desire to provide a nomination through the Illinois Department of Natural Resources Historic Preservation Unit, which has been, upon their approval, submitted to the National Park Service for inclusion in the National Register of Historic Places. The process for developing that nomination is not well defined by the state in terms of the criteria that they're looking for. So there are some specific requirements within the district that buildings must be more than 50 years old, be intact significantly. There's criteria that we have to speak to in the nomination regarding commerce, transportation, notable events, historical figures, and others, in order to make the justification that the district is warranted. Our process is to meet with the city and figure out what are the areas or boundaries in which the city feels that there is enough resources to justify the creation of that district, and then present that nomination to the state, who then sends it back for revisions. So we've been through that process now 2 or 3 times. They keep whittling down the size of the district and asking us for additional information to justify some of the historic nature related to architectural significance, notable events, things of that nature. So when they do, we have to keep going back and researching more. The mayor's been very helpful in sending us additional information and research that he's done to find information for us to justify this. Our original proposal that we wrote is hourly. That's how we always propose these projects, because we're not sure where the challenges are going to exist in justifying that nomination, and how easy that's going to be. So we put a number of hours on that based on our best understanding of the scope and the desires of the city. We have been through the revision process twice now, and we believe that the revisions being asked for by the state IDNR at this point is the final, hopefully, revisions. However, we are exceeding the hourly estimate that we originally came up with. So that's why I'm here answering those questions and providing clarification. I want to start off with a statement. I wish I could take credit, but we have the Iroquois County Historical Society that all that research I sent to you did all that research right there. The 2 young ladies right there in the black and orange top there. So I got a couple letters that I'd like to read into it, and then can we start the questions, or would you rather me do it at the end? Okay. And you have seen this before, but I'm going to read it again. From Mayor Christopher Curtis of the City of Kankakee. Dear Mayor All Hands, please allow this letter to outline the benefits of the community creating a historical district. The process being added to the National Register of Historic Places can take several years to create and implement. However, the end result can prove to be instrumental in the city's future growth. In 2015, the City of Kankakee, in cooperation with our downtown business district, started the process to become a downtown historic district. The designation not only promoted our downtown as a potential tourism destination, but more importantly, created the development of a district would allow the utilization of historic tax credits to assist the development and offset construction costs. The process began with evaluating the buildings in the downtown Kankakee and determining which would qualify for such a designation in the district, and then submitting an application for approval. After a lengthy review and certification, the Kankakee Downtown District was added to the NRHP on June 11, 2018. The district includes 73 buildings and incorporates a building from as early as 1864, along with other buildings, including the county courthouse, post office, police and fire stations, armory, and office buildings. The results of obtaining the district and spending the resources to obtain the designation has proven to be a critical tool to incorporate with our other incentives: TIF district, opportunity zone, enterprise zone, and special services area, to attract developers. The City of Kankakee has been able to attract 2 developers that are using historical tax credits as a way to renovate 3 existing buildings. The first building is 5,500 square foot, 2-story office building that began its $2 million renovation this summer. Additionally, a 5-story manufacturing property built in 1922 will begin its $17 million renovation in 60 days and become a residential loft apartments. Having a downtown area classified as a historical district and the ability for developers to be able to utilize historic tax credits has proven invaluable. While it can take several years to implement such a district, the rewards have proven critical to revitalizing our downtown and placed our city on a path to prosperity and expansion of our tax base. I personally would recommend such a tool to be created and utilized by any communities with an existing downtown and older buildings. Next one is from the Mayor of Lockport, Mr. Stephen Street. Mayor, thank you for reaching out to discuss our resurgent downtown and some steps that we have made to get us to this point. Hopefully you will find the following narrative as a helpful description of the efforts that have gone into its success. The City of Lockport has rediscovered its historic downtown over the past 8 years, resulting in a significant expansion in both community and downtown investment. In 2014, the community came together around an event called the Visionaries, a unique festival celebrating the steampunk art form prior to 2014. The city had a few events that attracted people from the region, Southwest Will and the Lockport area. Relying on our Canal Days festival to attract people to Lockport since that event, the Summer Art Series Committee, in association with the city, has helped organize over 25 events and activities. In addition to our regular car shows, summer concerts, Canal Days Festival, these activities have created a community culture around our motto, City of Historic Pride. But it's not just community pride in our history that is important. Those events spurred the start of a downtown's physical rebirth via redevelopment of many historic buildings. Shortly after the visionary event, 2 businessmen approached the city with the idea of purchase of what is locally called the Bulls Building, a historical structure that had been severely damaged by fires years prior. The first investment brought one of the first new restaurants to the downtown in years and has become a focal point of our revitalized downtown ever since. It would not have happened, though, if without the city purchasing the burned building and entering into a partnership with the future owners and selling it to them for $1. That $1 sale has been the catalyst for over $10 million in investment ever since. To continue the momentum, in 2014, the city has distributed over $425,000 in facade grants, and they get that from their gaming funds, compared to $100,000 since the program began in 2006. This support of our building and business owners has remade our downtown and attracted 5 new restaurants, 2 breweries, multiple new retail stores, all adding to additional sales tax revenue. Customers and vested owners that never have existed previously. The energy that is built over the past 8 years has led to one of the downtown's largest renovation projects since the Gaylord and Norton building. The Norton Opera House is at the southeast corner of intersection of 10th Street and State. A limestone structure of 1892, but significantly modified in the 1950s to become the Lockport office building. Had been vacant for over 10 years and had fallen into disrepair. In 2022, a local developer took ownership of the building and is under construction on a $2 million renovation of that building, and it will restore its original 1892 exterior and host an event center on the second floor, new restaurant space on the first floor. Having watched the resurgence of downtown, he and his partners purchased it because the movement and energy reinvested had been occurring and wanted to be part of it while investing in financially viable redevelopment project. This investment will bring thousands of people here to have never seen Lockport before, spending money in our businesses and becoming a great resident. The excitement is not just tied to our downtown, but has filtered through the city, attracting new residents, businesses, investment and reinvestment in homes, commercial properties, and additional development. But before 2014, total construction value of the investment citywide went from $279 million in 2006-2013 to $886 million in 2015, with an increase of 317% and total permits of 8,331. And that was in 206 to 213, and 2015 to 2022, they had 9,953 with an increase of 120%. As a 20-year resident of Lockport myself, I can say that we have not seen this level of pride in home and rental home ownership be as high as today. Beyond the restaurants, business parks, we are seeing exterior home renovations in our downtown area that have never happened, leading to an accelerating interest by younger families to being in downtown. It strengthens that sense of community and improves the quality of our residents' offerings while still providing home access. The downtown community resurgence was led by city leaders and community stakeholders stepping up the support to downtown, starting with quality events, leading to significant investments, as well as well-designed graphics, products, and buildings that will live on for the next 100 years. We wish you the greatest success in revitalizing downtown. We have investments that do not have to be large, but they need to be impactful and empower your business and property communities, owner communities, to do what they do best, with all contexts of growing excitement for what downtown can become. So, thank you. Now questions?
I do. So my question is, where is the process at in terms of, like, you know, for us to submit? Because from what I hear is that you guys already submit it and then they turn it back, say no, and then you guys resubmit it and then they turn back, say no, and then we have to dig into more information in terms of, like, you know, you have, in order for you to meet that criteria, correct? So from what I understand is that this process could be long. And I think, you know, what the other council member were thinking is that because it's a long process for us, what is the project, like, you know, like length of the process that we're expecting? Because I guess maybe for us to understand it is like, okay, it's a one-time thing and then we submit it and we're done or whatever. And then also from your experiencing in terms of you worked in different like historical district, what is actually the successful rate for us in order to get there? You know what I mean?
So to your first question, the timeline, the state of Illinois Department of Natural Resources, the unit, the Historic Preservation Unit, that's the unit that evaluates our submittals,
Mm-hmm.
takes it to their board for essentially a stamp of approval before sending it to the National Park Service.
Right.
Meets generally 2 or 3 times a year, that's all. Right now, we're shooting for their October presentation,
Mm-hmm.
which means part of the dollars incorporated into the modification request is actually our team traveling to Springfield and making that case to the board. We've got work that we need to do, and I wouldn't say that they've rejected our previous submittals. They've asked us for additional clarification and modifications.
Mm-hmm.
This process is very much both an argument and a negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
So our goal is to work with the city of Watseka and try to identify as many contributing structures, that's how they define it in the nomination, to open up the most opportunity for building owners to realize the benefits of the credits.
The state then whittles that down, right? They say, well, your district is too detached because you have too many non-contributing buildings to grab this one contributing building in the district. These conversations go back and forth and they make modifications to it. We try to get buildings in as a contributing structure, which then again opens up the credit program to them. And the state may say, there's been too many modifications that have been done to it. So right now, we're in our final revision. The state has already agreed that there is a district here. We wouldn't have got to this point if they didn't agree that a district is approvable. So they can send it to the ES. What we're trying to do now is get that to an agreeable, right, limits of the district and which buildings are included in the district. And they have whittled it down substantially from where we were trying to have, originally. We're trying to get to the October board meeting, but we do need to pick up their final list of comments in the most recent submittal that we have, the nomination that we've submitted, in order to make that, get on the agenda for that meeting.
Okay.
Once we get to that point, we've essentially already have their approval. We just have to go down and present it to the board, but we've been working with their full-time staff to get to that point.
Okay.
Once the state of Illinois signs off on it, then it gets sent to the National Park Service, who again approves it on behalf of the state. So that is kind of our final hurdle, is getting that agency to sign off.
So from 0 to 100%, where do you see yourself at? Like 80%, 90%?
90.
90? Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Approximately. Any other questions?
Could you explain the original size of the district and how much it has been reduced
Sure.
with your meetings?
So I did bring a map. So this is, and I know it's difficult to see, I can set this up here so you can see it. The original district included everything from.
Do we have an easel? I don't know if you want it on the easel? We could move the easel over here, or? Okay.
Here's your question. So we originally tried to incorporate, there's two existing buildings now here in the city of Watseka that are already registered historic buildings. That is the old courthouse and that is the depot. They're already been through the National Park Service process. They're already certified as themselves. Those are great contributing buildings for a district if we can get those in the district, right? Because it just reinforces that there's a greater district that exists. Unfortunately, the state's calling this too far detached. So
Darn it.
basically what we have is we have an 8-block area that extends from essentially the grain elevators
non-contributing, the
down
red.
to just where the old fire station is at, on both sides of the wall. That's what the state has limited us to in terms of the area. So we're talking about 8 city blocks.
Let me ask you on the dollars. I want to come in and I want to do $100,000 with work to bring back a historical. Can you explain the tax credits?
Sure. So the National Park Service, though they certify it as a historic district, the Secretary of the Interior actually administers the credit program. They have an application process for, say, a developer, even just a building owner, project, that they have to make the claim that the improvements that they're doing are historic preservation, considered, I guess you could say. They submit an application, let's say they're doing $100,000 in work like you're saying there, they're eligible for a $20,000 tax credit, which is obviously $1,000 tax credit off of the developer's tax bill, so it's not a deduction. Couple that with other programs that exist, like the facade grant that the city has now for $5,000, and right there, you're already a quarter of the way in of offering dollar for dollar tax credits back to the developer. Other programs exist, TIF districts, enterprise zones, all of this is our part of the tool bag that allows developers to see the city of Watseka as, a good place for redevelopment.
And we are looking at a TIF district. We're in a study right now from the railroad tracks. I believe we went to 6th Street. That way we can incorporate all the Pences in there. So we are looking at it, and plus on basically the north side of town, it's not an enterprise zone, it's an opportunity zone. I know that deals with capital gains.
I'm not sure of those aspects of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have another question. So how did that $7,750 extra come about? Like, can you explain a little bit more about it?
Sure. So we had a conference call after our most recent submission. They reviewed our most recent deliverables, conservation perspective, we have to utilize existing state laws and existing railroads to make the case that those are historic. This is and when I say it's an argument, that's the argument. We have to defend that position, and sometimes our defense, they want more expansion. So in some of the cases of, where we met the requirements or criteria of denomination, they want additional information. So we go back to the mayor, we go back to the historic society, we look for additional justification for the district within those. We took the information in the most recent review from IDNR and applied ours to that in order to determine, again, a resubmission to satisfy those requests, and that's how we resulted in the modification request.
I have a question. Are you considering the Opera House as the anchor for this historic district?
There is no true anchor, so either buildings are contributing or they're not contributing. Those are really the only two criteria that exist. The only exceptions that would be buildings that are standalone historic, such as the courthouse but we don't have any of those types of buildings that are already certified in the current boundaries of the district.
Because I think last week there was some confusion that we were doing this solely for the Opera House, and that's not the case.
No,
And-
but the Opera House is
Right.
So if we tear the Opera House down because we voted that it's not worth it anymore, it's a liability to the city more than it is anything. It's unfortunate, but there's just nothing we can do about it. How big of a piece does that take out of this puzzle if we lose that building? I know of two that are on your map right now that are scheduled to be demolished. Number 61, which is on the other side of Pence's on the far eastern edge of your property, is currently scheduled by them to be destroyed. And the Opera House is gonna come down. Those are two key pieces on this that I see. With taking them out of the picture, does that still give us an opportunity to follow through with this? Or once the state realizes that those, especially the Opera House, once the Opera House comes down, is the state gonna look at this and go, hey, you need to adjust more?
I don't think so. So they look at it from a concentration perspective. There is no particular building that is, required in order to justify the district. The Opera House is obviously a contributing building that's very significant, and if the goal of the historic district is to save the buildings, we're trying to prevent that through this program from happening. And that's the whole goal of the program, is to save those structures.
And just some clarification, we have gotten a demolition engineer, but we have not made a final decision on the Opera House yet.
Now, you said that the district was reduced on the east side up to Fifth Street?
I believe so.
That would be where the old city hall and fire station was at?
Yes.
That's the end of the district.
Okay, so,
We tried to
so
go past
Pence's
the
building is not, so Pence's building is not even in this consideration at this
And
time?
that just came about recently,
Okay.
so.
That was in the most recent revision, so in the
Okay.
initial submission that we made, is it Penske building? Is that what you call it?
Pence, yeah.
Pence Oil,
Just past the BP station, right?
yes.
We tried to extend the district to that, and unfortunately, they didn't see the CVS or Walgreens across the street, nor the BP as, contiguous to the district, so they chopped that building out. And those are the kind of decisions that they make at the state level, though we try to get the building in, they make that final decision.
And basically, we're just Walnut Avenue down. Nothing on Oak, nothing on Cherry at this point.
They cut Oak out, to the alley on the north side of Walnut, and they took us to the railroad tracks at the south. But we had it extending to the courthouse.
Okay. Any more questions on the historical district? Okay, so the other issue, and I don't know if any of the folks here, but this is in regards to the J.C. Penney's. Like I said, it's kind of in limbo right now. And I think there was some confusion of mixing this additional for the historical district with the Opera House last week. What are your thoughts? I know, I think Don and Benny sat in, and there was actually a misconception of having to take off the roof and crane the trusses out, but I don't think that's the case. You remember that, Benny?
Right.
And,
Not anymore the case, Mayor. So
what's that?
that's not anymore the case. That was the assumption initially, that potentially that could be a resolution. When we first were called to look at the building, this was, last year, end of last year in August. We came down, too much of the interior of the structure was still plastered to the ceiling, that we couldn't make observations of where the roof failure existed. We saw the temporary shoring that had been installed previously. We knew, we could get up there to some degree, and see that there was a failed king truss that existed above the roof. We weren't sure at that point if we were gonna have to take the roof off, pull the old truss out, crane hoist a new truss in place, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We then submitted a proposal to come back after the Public Works Department had removed the building definitely needs a roof. It's leaking. It's not helping the situation at all. We do have quite a few mezzanine and floor levels with damage in them now. I understand that it's gotten worse since we did our initial investigation and our follow-up investigation. Keeping the water out is number one. Having issues to salvage the building. Structurally, the building is a strong building. It just happens to have hole in the roof right now. And that's the issue. The proposal that we submitted for that was to do the bid documents to comply with public bidding requirements, to do the restoration of the building, fixing the leaking truss, and putting a new roof on the building, essentially stabilizing it.
How much is that gonna cost?
The work itself?
Yep.
Don, you had that process.
I had one that Eric had worked, or started on. It wasn't finished.
And is it at prevailing wage? That's my other question. along
Well, some of these people have worked for the city before, so I'm assuming it's a prevailing wage. I only have one copy unless, did anybody else get a copy like this?
Just to read it off. Just to read it off, Don.
Okay, well, under the demolition, he had one from Lee, demolition back in, 21. They were talking 110,000. It was updated in 23, 118. That now will probably go up because if we remove the J.C. Penney's building, the west wall of the Penney's building is not tied in to the roof of the Traditions Bar. So they're going to have to install some metal ties or something connecting the old masonry wall to the roof of the Traditions Bar, so it would all remain intact. He also had listed down here, Traditions may be closed for a week while they tear the building down, and that was 8,000. Masonry company gave estimates on repairing the wall that would be left. That would be the wall between Traditions and the J.C. Penney's building. And that, depending on how it was repaired and what they did, it could run between $48,000 and $149,000. And then Solid Rock Masonry was given a price of putting a new metal cap over the top of that wall to seal it so the water couldn't get inside the wall. Also be flashing it on the Tradition side so the water would not get into their roof. And that was another $13,000. Now, I haven't added any of these up. And I'm sure we got other costs in there that we're not even thinking about. Filling the lot. When that wall at J.C. Penney's at the bottom needs tuck pointing down below the first floor structure. On the opposite end of it, to stabilize it, there was an estimate of $89,000 to repair the loose seams on the roof, which is no more because that roof is gone. And then Mr. Carlisle here, his group estimated repairs to include the roof membrane and roof rafters at $224,000. And there will be, if we do that, there would be additional costs on top of that. So this is only a preliminary and only started. Eric is waiting for some prices to come back that have not arrived in here yet. Right now, it's getting close to being a wash, one way or the other. But I don't know what the total figures would be when we get everything else.
Well, there's a huge stretch.
There is. Yeah, the cheapest way is to throw metal over it. The other way would be to tuck point it all and paint it and all this sort of stuff.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Carlisle.
Over the course of the last winter, it's my understanding that the roof membrane has come, at least in sections, completely off the building as well?
Yes.
That was not like that when we looked at that much, so it's continuing to deteriorate. So our report and follow-up report was written February 14th of this year. We were back out looking at the building again once the plaster ceilings have been removed. And there's some miscellaneous interior repairs now too, because light framing for wood flooring and things like that, the joists are gone essentially, or rotted out, so.
Okay, like I said, we've got a demolition engineer looking at it. Decision, again, is we're waiting on that. you know, there's some additional costs to do this RFP, request for proposal. They have the general report, but this would be more specific as far as how you'd reinforce some of the damaged stuff with steel ends and stuff like that. As far as a heavy snow incident, and let's say the roof did go, to me, that would fall in. Are the walls sturdy enough? I mean, what are you thinking?
I don't know, that's hard to guess. I mean, yeah, gravitationally, the roof should fall in. What type of lateral loading that puts as a result of the failure of the trusses when that occurs on exterior walls is hard to judge. You know, what the potential, secondary types of failures could be.
So, I mean, possibility that it could fall out on the street or would it collapse in? Okay. Okay. We have some ladies in the audience. Any thoughts, questions, or concerns you'd like to offer? When you say big issue, what's your?
Save ourselves. And I really think that it's such a thing that we could form committees, just as they did with the Historical Society, to save our building. And raise money, have fundraisers, and if we run it, we were told by the city accountant that if we ran it through, we could use, the tax number, we have a tax number, and then we could run it through the city coffers. The money would come into the city from the fundraisers for the repair of the, building.
And as for repairs, I think, what'd you have, like a $19,000 to do the RFP? Okay, would there be, if this group was able to form quickly? I mean, I gotta be honest with you, I'd love to see the building saved.
Yeah.
Okay? But again, dollars are gonna kinda rule the day. Don, you're kinda speculating, or Eric's speculating that this might be a wash, the demo to,
He's got some figures still coming in on the stabilization in here that he's been waiting for a few weeks on.
And there's a wide spread as far as the demolition. It could be as low as 48, as far as solid rock masonry, or as high as 150. So, I mean, that's a
Okay,
significant difference.
What she's talking about there is the wall that would remain of the J.C. Penney's building. How do we handle that? What do we do to it? One option was, the lower one is just throw some building metal over the outside of it. The other option would be to tuck point it and paint it and finish it like, well, sort of like where the empty lot is uptown. And have it look like that. So you got two different ways of doing it. Putting metal over it, does that affect the historical end of it?
Over the side of it?
Yes.
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
Typically with the street facing side.
So,
We're talking about the side of,
so in my opinion,
It faces the street. When the building's gone, it's gonna face the street on that side. It's not the front side, it's the side, but it still faces the street.
well, there's a lot in between it and the building. It's considered the side of the building.
Okay. Well, we're making that
Again,
assumption.
we're gonna make that case to the state, right?
Right?
So,
Could go either way.
We're making that assumption, and you said the old A&P, which is now the Park District, was removed because of work that's been done on it recently.
correct.
And one of them was to cover the building in metal. So, if it knocks it out, I was just wondering if it would knock anything else out uptown.
That was the front of that building, I believe.
It was all the way around it.
So that's a difference.
And the other,
We have a lot of buildings
Here's-
downtown where they are multi-story buildings, where the bottom storefront has been impacted, modified, right? The windows, storefront windows have been taken out, either metal fill, infill. We can still justify those as contributing historic buildings though, because of the upper level masonry that's. So, again, we have to make that case and justify that. But they agree with most of our attempts at justifying those as contributing.
so if I understand, we have one line item with the masonry that can put it either a wash or a little bit less. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
saying.
have a
is
grass
that-
lot.
Well, it'll probably cost more money to restore it, but like instead of spending say over 100,000 to tore a building down, you could, you spend more to restore the building and there is still value on it. But like, you spend 100,000 with like the building is just gone, because
Right.
for safety
So
reasons.
here's-
Well, and what,
Okay.
Diane,
Here's
what
my-
we're doing here is we're talking about stabilizing the building, not restoring it. We're trying to get it in the dry and keep it weatherproof for 10, 20 years until it is restored. So we're not really talking restoring.
This is just to save the building. This isn't
that's
full
not in-
restoration.
That has nothing to do with anything on the inside.
Right,
It's to keep it
right.
from falling down and being a liability, which is unfortunate.
It would
I
be
love to save the building
stabilized.
the same way.
it'd be stabilized, and basically it would buy time. If that's what I remember Benny and Don telling me, this would buy time if somebody, there's nothing that's gonna be instantaneous gratification for somebody coming in. Yes, ma'am?
Are the members of the committee aware of the significance of the building?
Yeah.
in
Yes.
its early, all the events that happened there
Yes.
after it was, okay. I
Of
didn't
course,
know
yes.
that information was out
Yes.
there with you. Graduations and concerts and speakers and basketball.
William Jennings
My
Bryan.
father told me quite a bit about the building.
So,
Yeah, the list just goes on.
yeah.
Traveling vaudeville, jazz.
The actress that was there, the famous actress that put on a performance there, I mean,
William Jennings Bryan spoke there a few times during the gold standard and the free silver debate.
So here's my concern. We continue to talk about this, and as we're noticing, the building is continuing to get
Yeah.
further and further,
Mm-hmm.
in disrepair. Yes. And at some point, we have to pull the trigger and say, we can either continue to wait, continue to try and get funds, and in the meantime, we have a building that's sitting up there that has the potential to harm the public if it comes down and it is not, it doesn't just fall in on itself. It could fall over into the street, onto cars, onto children. I think what we're doing is we are just continuing to talk about an issue, and we have to come up with the resolve, one way or the other.
Quickly.
Quickly. Now, I do understand the history behind it. I truly do. And it's not that we want to take the history away from that building. We'd love to honor it. For those of us who feel that we might not be able to save the building, we would still like to honor that, to provide the history one way or another, whether it's providing, little plaques that have interesting historical facts or something that we can do. But we have talked about this for how long, council, and we have got to decide one way or the other. We cannot continue to allow this to be a liability, and that's where we're at.
But we do have to get the rest of the information in, and Eric doesn't have that yet, so.
Well,
Mr.
that's-
Carlisle, from your opinion, working with
What
other
do you
old
suggest?
buildings, stability of them walls? Yeah, working with other old buildings, what is your opinion of of the walls? How stable are they and stuff?
Those are a lot stronger than you think they are, especially these old ones. We don't build buildings like
I mean, I've walked around it, it looks like it's pretty straight and true. I believe it's like at least 4 bricks thick, if not thicker, especially on the lower level.
now we've been up in the ceiling, we've been up on the roof, it's a strong building. I don't think that, talking about it imploding upon itself, I don't think that is something that's in the very near future. Again, I don't have a,
Crystal ball.
To Alderman Grove's point, there's value in that building. There's value. So if we're talking about the potential for a developer to come in at some point, it's a lot easier to sell a stabilized building with the value there for $1 than it is to sell an open lot for $1, just from their investment dollars perspective. And again, that's the intention of the historic district, is to further incentivize those types of efforts. We're the firm that did the historic district for the city of Kankakee. They were rejected twice outright by the state. We got that pushed through, and they're seeing massive amounts of development as a result of that now. They have entire city blocks that are parking lots now.
Who's this?
Way too long in order to establish the district of incentivize preservation.
So do you recommend what do you recommend us to do? Should we demolish it or should we restore it?
I think ultimately that's up to the community, you know, I mean, that's, my perspective.
No, what I'm trying to ask is what is your opinion right now?
My opinion is the building's salvageable, it has value, it's historic, you can never get it back once it's torn down, when it's gone, it's gone. We legally can't build that building and if we're designing that building in that format, it's not code compliant, it's not energy efficient.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So it would take a lot to get it to a point that it needs to be for resale or,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just the stabilization.
The figures you're talking about is basically just to
Right.
get it some time where somebody could come in and, you know, it'd be marketed. This would be like, you know, I'm thinking towns our size, similar, this would be like Moments. They've had similar buildings like this that got fixed. This would be like Paxton. And I'd just encourage some of you to take a ride through some of those towns and take a look at what they've done. And they have some going on very actively right now in Paxton. From Lockport, and I know a bigger community, but again, we're on smaller scale. But this Vols building they talked about, the mayor talked about walking by that on the sidewalk after the fire, and he could look up through the windows and see the sky. They got that done, and it took maybe a year or 3, something like that. It's between there, and that's when they had somebody come along and bought it for $1, and then put a lot of money into it. So there are people that do like to restore these old buildings.
So I do have a,
With the historic district, where does the ADA, how does that come into play?
That's part of the renovation process, right? So, I mean, the building, that building in specific, the J.C. Penney building or the Opera House, obviously has some challenges regarding ADA compliance. That would be up to whoever redesigns it. I don't even know what purpose that building would serve in the future, how they would be compliant with that. The state of Illinois Attorney General's office does state that, you know, you're expected to bring current buildings up to compliance in so much as possible. So it goes back down that road again of, we've got to make arguments that this is in so much as possible we can do to provide compliance. So I think that's a question for the redevelopment effort though.
But that's on the floor that you're servicing people.
Correct. And if
So
similar or
if somebody only went on the first floor,
upper floors, you do not have to provide Veriflex. Correct. And again, that's part of that argument that has to be made.
because on the very top floor, I remember going to the, what I call the Eagle's Nest, but I don't remember ever going up to the third, well, I'm gonna call it the third floor, or the top floor.
John, if if that building is stable, that's gonna be a multi-million-dollar project to a developer. Now,
That's why the tax
and the
credits would be
question
important,
is-
you're right.
going to
the
do that.
question is somebody out of town gonna look in here and say, oh, I'm gonna invest $3 million in this structure? And why would they? That's a question in my mind is, once we get a good ceiling and 4 walls up,
I know he's saying why would they, but
who's gonna?
why have they? Because it's been done.
Who's gonna?
So let's hear that part.
Is there a reason for somebody to?
Yeah, so it's not why would they, but why
Where is
have they?
that located?
So they've actually got 3 buildings. They have the old, you know,
Which town, I'm sorry, I did not hear. The town or community that, okay, so they are 6 times larger than we are in population.
So we'd be
Same
on a
with
smaller
Lockport.
scale, you're right. We would be on a smaller
So
scale.
we are, we are, of course, a much smaller scale. But I do have a question for the council because I just want to make sure I'm considering this. At one time, we were going to condemn that building because of the structure, because of what we had found or engineering had found out. How did it all of a sudden, hold on.
What we found was piled full of mattresses, and the
I
fire
understand.
department was very concerned about it.
And I get that. But we've had people come in and look at it, and they said it was ready to be condemned. How does it all of a sudden go from able to be condemned to now it's structurally sound well enough that we can continue to hold off to do anything with this building?
And I think you need to take another look at that because they did say possibly condemnation, but they said unless somebody was willing to take on a rehabilitation. So I think you need to look at that one again.
Because I think from the time that they took a look at it and then progressing till now, there might be a significant change in there, and
Well, it sounds like it's still
Yeah.
continuing to be
Yeah.
in disrepair, so
Yeah.
no one's gone in and done any work, so I don't know how it could have improved so much.
right.
And that's.
Well, if
that's
you're
a
going from that
concern.
report, that's kind of an inaccurate statement. Like I said, it said either it needs to be rehabilitated or it needs to be condemned.
And
So, but
And
it's
did we
saying, as far as saying somebody, that was on the, is it, they do like code stuff, it begins with a B, what's that? Yeah, yeah, that's the one you probably need to take another look at.
Stabilization, there is different levels of condition that exist, right? Condemned, stabilized, rehabilitated, so.
So, okay, well, I mean, I know this conversation probably can go on for hours. Unless anybody in the audience needs to add something, we probably need to move on a little bit, but
Yes, we need to move on.
I will tell the folks, if you want to try and organize something to help us pay for it, that probably needs to be done fairly quickly, because we are looking at the other side as far as the demolition engineer coming back, and it sounds like he may have come back and we're getting some. But I will tell you, the thing on top, the ornate, the Stevens Brothers, somebody has told me that those can bring some pretty good money, and by salvage rights with the salvage company, we probably won't be able to hang on to that. So, and it sounds like they can get some good money for that thing.
Would the old courthouse museum take the Penny's building as a donation from the city and take it on themselves?
And the 3 properties that we
That's a good
did,
question.
I'm just asking a simple question. I says, if you guys are willing to put things together, would the people from the old courthouse museum and anybody that you guys have want the building? Because the city owns it. We'll deed that property over, I guarantee you, with a vote here and a snap of a fingers, and you guys can have it.
because basically in the 3 properties, we only paid $8,000 for it.
Lose interest in it once it's on theirs.
So, I mean, I'm just looking at this from the standpoint of the taxpayer, that the liability right now sits on the taxpayer. And if that building happens to come down, as much as I want to save it, I honestly do. But I'm looking at it from my constituents and my taxpayers in my ward that are going to look at this if it collapses. I understood, yeah, but I'm just saying is if that happens, it's on the city and it's on the taxpayers to foot that bill. And I guarantee you that the demolition cost of that building, if it falls on its own without the planning, is going to be significantly higher than if we plan to have it done. And then on top of it, whatever liability lies underneath the bricks that fall, whether that be on a person, on a car, on whatever. Because right now, that whole building is sitting on the taxpayers of the city of Watseka. And the liability is right there with it.
But if your committee wants to take
If you
over
guys
that,
want the building, you're
we
more
would
than
look
welcome
at-
to, I'm sure that this whole board would agree, and we will sign that deed over in a snap of a fingers. So, I
I mean, basically, we paid $8,000 for it. And I know there's been some misconception and misinformation from downtown, but we only paid $8,000 for it, so.
and then we will work diligently to help you to get everything to go that direction, to get it
I
repaired.
know we can't get an answer from you tonight. Maybe it's something you want to mull over. But like I
I'd
said,
at least
we
throw it
got
out there.
we've got some things that are going, and I thank
right.
Scott for bringing that up. So,
Moving on.
Don,
All
one
right.
more thing. On this
got to make it last.
stabilization, the Carlisle gave an estimate on repairs of the roof. One thing we need is a drawing, design of how to do them repairs for that truss and stuff
And that's
before
What that
they-
additional is.
before anybody will give us a firm price. Do we want to do that?
what that additional 19 is, to my understanding.
Okay.
So that's something the council needs to, well, think about. All right. Ms. Carlisle, I thank you for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Okay, we're going to move on to ordinances, resolutions, agreements, and proclamations. We have 3. And we need a motion to set the consent agenda.
So move.
Second.
Roll call when you're ready.
Rolfs,
Aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Ko, Marcier,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Baragry,
Aye.
Mensch.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, I figured these are pretty straightforward, so I omitted asking for taking anything out. So we've said it, so now we need a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Roll call when you're ready.
Faraghree,
Aye.
Cahill. Delar,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Rolfs.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, standing committee reports, finance, legal, and audit.
All right, the first item in finance is the claims in the amount of $288,645.33. I'll make that motion.
675.
$675.33.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Need a roll call, please?
Anderson,
Aye.
Rolfs,
Aye.
Cahill. Marcier,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Faraghree,
Aye.
Mensch.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Accept and place on file the June Treasurers Report. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Marcier,
Aye.
Faraghree,
Aye.
Rolfs,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Cahill. Miller,
Aye.
Delar.
Aye.
Motion carried.
What do you want to do with the next item, John?
Which one is this? All right, it's what we had with Mr. Carlisle. So are we ready to continue on with that? Need a motion in a second.
Second.
No, we didn't have a first.
Nobody made a motion.
Oh,
Need a motion, please.
motion.
Denny?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call when you're ready,
Question
please.
on the motion?
Go ahead.
How come in the letter it says he'll go ahead and forgive it? Why are we gonna pay it when he says he'll eat it? It's taxpayer dollars.
What was that?
He said now he'll eat the extra
It's in his
Extra.
letter. He says they'll go ahead and absorb it.
cost. That was what he said in that letter.
He did.
Second paragraph.
We were given.
I guess we can go with that and don't need a, well, we've got a motion, so
We have a motion and a second.
We can,
roll call.
All right, Anderson,
No.
Mensch,
Aye.
Cahill.
No.
Rolfs,
aye.
Marcier,
No.
Miller,
Well, I guess seeing Scott's question here, I guess I'll vote no.
Delar,
No.
Faraghree.
No.
Okay, so I'll get a hold of him and see if he'll still absorb that.
5-2, yeah. Or 5-3, I'm sorry.
Okay, next item is approval of the dumpster lock reimbursement program. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Can I just ask one quick question?
Yep.
If I may? As far as the multi-site dumpsters, are we gonna do anything different for them or considerations, like the apartment complexes? Cause I don't know how they'll be able to lock it up with their tenants. That's the only question I have. Have we taken any consideration for that?
From seeing where my daughters live, and of course this is in a bigger city, but each of them were given their own dumpster key. So I'm just totally making an assumption that that's what they would do in the event of that.
Okay, Jenny, this is for businesses only, so it's not going to include multi-story complex.
It's
Does not.
not correct.
Not correct.
Correct, Joe?
No.
Not correct?
Not correct.
It's included in the ordinance that all multifamilies are included in that.
Okay.
And it's on the rebate program that I sent you guys.
Correct.
Which is why when I did the email, Lauren said it was going to be $69, and I didn't know how many multifamily, dumpsters were going to be at issue. So I didn't know if you were going to do the full amount or reduce that based on the number. I said that was going to be left up to you guys. So
Well, some of the
Based on that
multifamilies
number.
have 2 sets of doors on them, so that means 2 sets of locks. 2 cables, whatever. I talked to one of them. They said, we put lids on ours at one time, and instead of lifting the lid up to put the stuff in, the people said they couldn't reach the lids, too heavy or whatever. They just threw the trash on top. So he said we had to go over and take the lids off.
well, having
Yeah.
lids off is ridiculous. There should always be a lid on there.
Well, anyway, it's all on their property, so if it gets scattered around, they pick it up.
Well, I don't know. Right.
So let's,
I just wanted to confirm before
No.
we,
That's a
You
good
know.
question.
I think we should, if you want to change the ordinance to businesses only,
gotta.
And we'll,
it's
I know that, we'll have to not approve.
I say we table this for now
Yeah,
until
that's
further
what I was
discussion.
saying too.
Yeah.
Yep, table it.
Yeah, or repeal it,
Thank you.
Or repeal it.
because we're gonna be finding homeless
We're,
people.
I think we want to change it to business only, Joe.
Well, for now, let's table it. We'll discuss it in
That's
committee
fine,
and move
but
forward.
I gotta have it, you gotta do an ordinance.
Yeah, we'll have to change it, so.
Okay,
Table.
table. All right.
That's it for finance.
Okay, Public Works, Water and Wastewater.
I got two things. Yeah, two things coming out of Public Works. First one is to approve Battle Axe, that's AX,
That's what it is.
Did you act something?
$1,895 from McCullough, paid out of 6-106900.
I make that motion.
Second.
Roll call when you're ready.
Mensch.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Marcier.
Aye.
Cahoe.
Aye.
Delar.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Baragry.
Aye.
Rolfs.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And the second is the engineering services agreement to redo Fifth Street to Fairman,
Mm-hmm.
K Street,
North Street.
North Street to the UP Railroad tracks. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second.
Roll call when you're ready, please.
Cahoe.
Aye.
Delar.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Baragry.
Aye.
Marcier.
Aye.
Mensch.
Aye.
Rolfs.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Motion carried.
That's it.
Dennis, I got one more thing.
Oh, go ahead, Merle.
Sorry. So we had a bid opening today, for the Locust Street Sewer Project that was delayed almost 2 years ago now. Before my time, Instituform was going to line the sewer. There was an offset. The offset ended up being in the railroad zone. Long story short, the sheet piling and structural engineering was going to cost more to replace that offset and line it than to just put a new casing, a new sewer under the railroad there. So we had two contractors bid this. R&R Construction for $741,679.50 and IPC for $795,961.47. So R&R came in as low bidder. Engineering estimate was $845,040. This did not get on the agenda tonight, so I am requesting a special meeting next week after, I think we got with purchasing.
Purchasing.
Okay.
Either before or after, whatever works for the council. I'd like to get this rolling one way or the other, so we know which direction we need to go. Looking at our TIF 3 and TIF 4, I believe we can pull the funds out of both of those to cover this. We have a little over $1 million in TIF 3 and a little under 400,000 under TIF 4. So I think we could split this both ways. I did get confirmation that we could pull funds from either TIF to pay for this, being that it's wastewater contributing to both areas.
So we already got railroad approval, correct?
Yeah, so we have permitting out. I believe that was pretty much finalized. They had a couple questions. We went back and forth. We're in good shape there. Yeah, I think we're really ready to move forward with this project finally. That sewer is in pretty bad shape underneath the railroad. Original project was about 200,000 plus another 80,000 from Instituform lining that section. So we were about 300,000 on that original project. We do have about 50,000 out in material from the original project. And I'm working with some vendors to see if we can return some of the materials for an in-house credit for future purchasing. Some of it we're just out. So
The old sewer, once the new one is installed and up and running, do we have to pump
So-
it full of flowable fill?
So this is part of that project.
It's
It'll be
included in there?
flowable filled through the railroad zone. The railroad requires that to be filled.
Are you gonna have to have rail safe on this, involved in this?
Yeah, so this includes flaggers and rail safety.
Rail Pro?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, UP only uses Rail Pro, so.
Lauren, did
Yeah.
you say Did you say engineering was 800 and some thousand?
No, the engineering estimate was 845,000.
Oh, okay.
So they came in $100,000 less than engineering
Oh,
estimates.
yeah, okay.
So
Okay.
obviously, Robinson's reviewed the bids. They didn't see any issues there. Obviously, they are recommending R&R's bid at the 741,000.
And this all can be discussed in the special meeting, right?
Yeah.
Just, I think we're just in the wrong.
Yeah,
Right.
I just want to bring this
Not
up
on
to
the
get
agenda,
approval
so
for,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah,
have
it's
to
not
do
on the
this.
agenda.
We'll
But
set it
thank
for
you for letting
Tuesday.
us know.
yeah.
Right.
We'll set it for Tuesday night then?
Yeah.
Everybody can put it in their schedule?
Yep.
Next Tuesday?
Sounds good.
That'll be immediately after purchasing.
Okay.
Oh, next Tuesday?
Oh, that's,
Yeah,
Yes.
the 30th.
No, you're not.
Okay.
It's either that or we have to wait till the 13th after code, correct?
Yeah, let's do
August
it as soon as we
13th.
can.
Yeah.
We waited 2 years now. How about let's hurry it up.
Okay,
so when are, I'm sorry, let me just make sure I understand. When are we having the special meeting?
Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And we do, I think, purchasing at 6, so it'd be the 6:30 time.
6:30.
Or immediately after. We'll sign quickly. Okay, so nothing in public safety, nothing in code. We have miscellaneous business. This involves a individual employee. Is this something that we should go into executive session for, Joe?
It's up to you guys.
It's up to you guys.
I mean, you can talk about it in the open if you want to.
Okay.
It's just personnel.
No, I think the bottom line is Michael Cancar's pretty well explained it.
Yep.
She'll be entitled to 15 days, 5/29 of 26, and we need to let that stand.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't need a motion on that, do we?
Nope.
Okay, we will let that stand. And now we need an executive session. This should be a quick one for pending litigation.
Hey,
So I
just, hold on, let me read off what we got. Just pending litigation, discuss Peyton versus A.O. Smith Corporation, 2023 L 013106, currently pending in the Circuit Court of Cook County.
Thank you. So we need a motion and a second, please.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Lauren, if you could, can you close those doors?
We need to do roll call quick, you guys, for that. So Beargree,
Aye.
Kehoe,
Aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Rolfs.
Aye.
You gotta,
Okay,
you
so,
gotta hold on to the recording.
oh yeah. Sorry, I'm out of it more than usual.